Yo, imagine all of the Latina influencers coming together and wanting to start like a protest, like a movement. They have millions and millions of followers, and majority of them are people like us. And I just think that they can start something for real. And I don't know why they're not doing it. Like, they have the platform, they have the power, they have the ability to get people together.
Why isn't this Latino influencer speaking out about what's going on in our community? They don't want it to hurt their brand deals. It's that simple. The truth is, a lot of brands don't want to get politically involved with either party. And this is a known fact in the influencing world. Once you start posting a lot of political content, you might see those sponsorships, those brand deals slow down. Now, of course, this is why it's so important to work with the right brands. But the right brands are not that many. Now, do I think this is wrong? Absolutely. And I hope that karma bites all of them in the ass one day. But they don't care.
So y'all canceling Wendy Ortiz because she's not speaking out about the ICE raids when whole time people always speak out about racism, all that, but y'all like clowning people in the comments, and then y'all want to turn around when it's a trend to call people out for not speaking up about these public problems? Oh, okay. Because whole time creators like me and I know a whole bunch of other black folks be calling out a whole bunch of BS, can't say the other stuff, about what goes on in this world, especially when it comes to racism. Yet when we call it out, it's a problem. Only the time when y'all feel wrong is when y'all want somebody to call it out. But as soon as it's another race, it's a problem. Don't fault Wendy Ortiz because the whole time she's not making the raids happen, okay? That's number one. Number two, at the end of the day, whenever a creator speaks up about something, y'all don't have their back. You don't. Y'all get in the comments and like to join in unless it's a trend to stand up for them.
The protests are growing in Los Angeles, but the silence online is deafening as ICE ramps up its presence, detaining people and sparking fear across Latino communities. And many are not just scared, they are frustrated. Frustrated that their voices with power, platforms, and millions of followers are nowhere to be found. Where are the Latino influencers? Why are they so quiet now? Hello everyone, welcome back to Trending Pulse Worldwide. If you're new here, I'm Amy, and on this channel, we cover the trending, viral, and often uncomfortable stories that have people talking all over social media. And today's topic is personal for a lot of people, and it's causing real division online. And you know, the ongoing ICE raids in Los Angeles have sparked protests, fear, and outrage. But even more than that, they've sparked disappointment, not just in the system, but in the resilience of people who are expected to speak up. So what exactly is going on? Let's take a look at the videos going viral and the responses they are generating. So stick around because after this, I'll be back to break it all down with you. Let's take a look.
Why aren't Latino creators or influencers talking about what's happening with ICE? And the answers, besties, is very simple. First of all, some creators do not give a freak what's going on. Since them personally are not being affected, their partners, family, or close friends, they don't care. Secondly, no money. Some creators only post when they're getting paid, a campaign, or a sponsor ad. If not, they don't post. The fact that many Latino creators are money hungry is very sad. Another thing is, they don't want to hurt future brand deals. Brands always watch our content, and many creators are scared because they don't want to ruin their beautiful image on social media. Also a saying, that sounds like a you problem, which is what many creators are saying behind the scenes.
This is my unpopular opinion. Lately, I've been seeing videos of people commenting about how Latina content creators are not speaking up about the ICE raids going on in San Diego, as well as in Massachusetts, about the boy who got pulled out of high school mistakenly for his father. And pretty much the government said, well, the jurisdictions aren't helping, so we're pretty much just going to go in for anyone that's on our radar. And I just would like to comment on that. As a content creator, being a proud Latina is already resistance enough. We don't owe performative activism to people who only care when it's convenient to them. And what I mean by that is that when the DEA, I'll use that as an example, was pulled from a lot of these big box companies that we all love to shop, like Target, Ross, TJ Maxx, Home Goods, we all agreed as Latinos that we were going to not give some of our hard-earned money to these companies that were pulling away their DEI programs. It wasn't long before I started seeing Latinos back at Target, back at McDonald's, back at Walmart. So again, what's the point?
Reason why your fake content creators aren't talking about what's going on in LA, what's going on with ISIS, because they don't give a going to get the same views and the same likes if they do talk about it. And newsflash, y'all do not know your favorite content creators like the way you think y'all do. That's why so many of y'all favorite content creators be getting exposed for whatever. They be playing a part. They be playing a persona on this app. Because one wrong thing you say, one wrong thing you do, you get canceled on this app. You no longer get brand deals. You no longer get to go here, there. You don't get none of that shit. So of course, we're not going to be talking about the problems and issues that are actually, concerning the world.
I said we stop following and supporting those Latinos influencers that are not doing the same for our community. Because guess what? I haven't heard many of them say anything against the ICE raids, especially the ones that happened in downtown LA last night. They were horrible. It seemed like a war zone instead of downtown LA. The military, full equipment, rifles out, like it's downtown LA. Like what's going on? And those Latino influencers, they're not saying anything because of their brand deals, because they don't want to get in drama. This is not drama. Separating families is not drama. Separating kids from mom and dad is not drama. If you're Latino and if you have any influence, you should be speaking up against this. All of it. You shouldn't care about, if you make money or if you lose brand deals, none of that, because guess what? This is your community, and we need each other. If we want to survive, we need each other.
Alright, let's unpack. So, what is happening in Los Angeles is definitely heartbreaking, and families being torn apart, communities living in fear, parents afraid to go to work, kids scared to go to school. Nobody should have to live like that. But the internet conversation has taken a sharp turn, and it's exposing some deep cracks in trust between influencers and their communities. And on one hand, it's fair to expect public figures, especially Latino influencers with big platforms, to speak up when their own communities are being impacted. And these aren't fashion trends. These are people's lives. And Latinos are saying, you use our culture, you speak our slang, you build your brand off our support, but you go radio silent when it's time to stand up for us. And honestly, I can see where that anger is coming from. But let's also consider the other side. Some influencers are saying they feel used, like the community only comes to them when they're in crisis, that outside of these urgent moments, their work goes unsupported. And they're also saying that speaking out could risk their brand deals, partnerships, or safety even. And unfortunately, that part is true in many cases. And you might ask yourself, is it an excuse? Maybe. Is it a real fear? Absolutely. But here's the thing. If your platform is built on a community, you have a responsibility to that community, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's a risk. And while some creators are silent because of fear, others are silent because they simply don't care to get involved. And that's what upsetting people the most. Now let's talk about the Black creators who've chimed in. And not to center themselves, but to point out something that needs to be said as well. And they're reminding everyone that when Black influencers speak up about injustice, whether it's a police brutality, systemic racism, or inequality, and not just the Black influencers, even the Latino influencers, they often get pushback. And sometimes that pushback comes from the same people who are now asking for support. So some are saying, you can't ask for solidarity only when it benefits you. And again, that's a conversation worth having without making it a competition of struggles. Because at the end of the day, nobody wins if we are divided when we all need protection from injustice. So guys, this entire moment is emotional and it's exposing a lot of pain and a lot of truth. And should influencers be expected to risk their platforms to speak up? Maybe not every single time, but when it's your people being affected, silence speaks volumes. And for those feeling disappointed, maybe this is the wake-up call. Support the voices who do speak out even when the topic isn't trending, even when it's uncomfortable, because silence isn't always neutral. Sometimes it's protection at a cost. But let me know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it. I'd love to hear your take. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss another breakdown right here on Trending Pulse Worldwide. Thank you so much for sticking around, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.